Stephanie Cola Johnson, Informal Observation Number 2, Equity-Focused Leadership. In this observation, I will focus on the PSEL standards on equity and culturally responsive practices. Throughout the second observation, it was chosen with the strong intention of how it relates to the competencies. A professional learning community planning was used so that it could highlight partnership, collaboration, and fostering of ensuring that there's respectful practices available for all members involved in the PLC. To ensure fair and respectful treatment, all planning meetings are established with partnership agreements as well as norms. Norms are identified at the beginning of each meeting, and if there are any additions or added norms, those things are identified. Norms are agreed upon between each meeting or at the beginning of each meeting, and if recommendations for additional norms are stated, they are included in the current meeting. With respect to students' culture and context, students are often identified by subgroups. Students' names are seldom used, which is also a practice in sharing information via electronic sources. This video highlighted student strengths by focusing on how students in class practices and performances align to the current standard and how those practices were a part of the focus of the teachers' planning for those lessons by reflecting on previous skills that were taught in formal lessons that would build up to the upcoming standard that the teachers were planning for. In the observation, we talked about skill sets, students in need of interventions, students in need of reteach, and also we reflected on if a concept was highly misunderstood or misinterpreted, if teaching practices were not strong by one teacher who may have seen higher than 50% of success, the other teacher who had greater success at the TEKA or the standard then modeled the skill for those teachers present. To ensure that equitable resources and opportunities are available for all students, prior to the lessons, I collaborate with the teachers on building a unit plan. Before going into that unit plan, the teachers and I provide the teachers with district assessments so that we can plan with the end in mind. Those district assessments, the teachers look at how the questions are assessed to help identify which rigor is available. And identifying the assessments that will be used prior to the lesson delivery, we also plan for small group instruction. We plan for workstations, manipulatives, and resources that can be provided to all students and in alignment across all four monolingual classrooms, but there are also 4 dual language classrooms that are on the partner team with this team. So in ensuring that there's equitable access to resources, all students are assessed, be it via monolingual or dual language. The assessment is common, just the language is different. And the workstations are provided to the teachers and discussed and at that modeled as a team and adjustments are made, of course, linguistic adjustments, as well as rigor adjustment, i.e., in the observation, the teacher was doing sets of numbers. Well, in some cases, there are some students who have they have mastered maybe the skill. So we determine ways to either build the skill up or how to remediate those in need. To also ensure that we're developing student policies and things of that nature, we ensure that each student receives the same level of instruction. Each student receives interventions and small group instructions. in working with my teachers, I make them aware that a schedule or a cycle of when do you meet with these students, not just for tier 1 instruction, but tier 2 and tier 3 instruction as needed. Are we documenting student progress? I review teacher binders, student work samples, and things of that nature to ensure that the best practices are provided for all students, as well as data analysis and ensuring that instruction is data driven. In regard to evaluating my preparedness for the roles that I'll serve in as an instructional educational leader, I would say that I felt about 80% prepared, and as when I served as a master teacher when I first entered this program. But there's nothing like on-the-job learning and experience. Since I've entered this program to become a principal as an instructional leader, I have become an instructional leader from my district, which has really had me hit the ground running with these practices of being an instructional leader. Whereas being a master teacher, I still taught students and supported teachers in the meantime. But now my focus is really monitoring, inspecting what I expect, being a model for instruction, being a model for district vision, district policy, district curriculum changes, district assessment changes. So in this role, I would say the educational preparation that I've learned in this program, it took for me to walk in the shoes to start making those connections. The courses that I've taken in curriculum, of course, assessment practices, I would say statistic trends in data analysis, those courses have definitely supported my ability to have a greater knowledge and depth or capacity of those skills. But I'd also say classes that have supported me, or classes that have taught me how to be an instructional coach, an instructional leader, classes with embedded T-test language and how to evaluate and coach teachers. Those classes were what I prioritize and what I feel were significantly strong in helping me feel prepared as a principal, as an instructional leader. I'd say if there was an area I'd like to, that I'm continuing to try to grow in, is cultural responsiveness. That is an ongoing, not only hot topic at my campus, being that I serve as socially economic challenge, dual language, ESL, many different sub-pops. I just say, as a nation, I see changes where cultural responsiveness, intent, and with true integrity and discussions, I would say that would be an area that I'd like to see more active discussions or resources or books that are truly identifying true areas that are in need. To strengthen my capacity as a leader, I'd say I'd like continued professional development with public relations. In my role, I am very sound with curriculum practices, assessment, and data practices. However, I seek to grow in dealing with behavior issues in the schools, parent interactions, student safety, maybe school law, a little more in-depth practices of school law, with more experiences. I think I have there's a lot of textbook knowledge, and of course I've been successful with passing assessments that discuss those areas. But now that I'm in my role and I have to deal with situations such as custody cases with parents, or parent attacks upon one another, or protecting students, those are definitely areas that I'd like to have growth in. And also just continuing to build rapport with those teachers who lack preparation, who are burnt out, teachers who, so I guess I'd like to continue to build, focus more on building school climate, rewarding teachers, while also having high expectations for them. To build my cultural competence, I feel that I could collaborate with, and I do this, but I could do it more so, collaborate with other campuses, find additional trainings on diverse communities. My job, I am at a good seat where I deal with a lot more diverse interactions than I had done in prior schools. However, joining like groups within my school district that help to make me more aware of cultural responsiveness, policy changes, curriculum choices. Right now, my school district has a new reading curriculum that the teachers have not necessarily bought in because the units aren't specifically aligned with the pacing of that of the monolingual teachers, but the common formative assessments are the same. So just kind of being a voice for cultural alignment. I'd say a personal habit or perspective that I have in order to be more respectful as a responsive leader in areas of equity is honestly stepping out of my comfort zone. It's easy for us all to have interactions and discussions and express our true thoughts with in circles that we are used to, but having the esteem, having the strength, having the humility, as well as the social responsibility to dip my nose in those conversations, I feel is an act that not only I should take, but other leaders should take, and really, really, really try to look at the lens from the viewer's side and listening, being more aware of listening to hear as opposed to listening to respond, understanding the why of others. In my efforts to grow in these areas, I've found my strengths in these areas this year because I did step out of my comfort zone. My district sends me on dual language not interviews, but learning walks, campus walks, and those walks are in Spanish. My understanding of Spanish is there, but best practices, instructional delivery, pacing, pedagogy, that crosses all languages. Just in me walking that walk this year as an instructional coach and observing a number of campuses across the district, I have found that we must highlight how we are more alike than different, and how the expectations, if we want to improve the students, the target seems to be moving, but in improving student outcomes, we have to make sure that our curriculum that's provided supports all learners. Have we really vetted curriculums that provide the best instruction to meet diverse learner needs, to meet linguistic expectations? Are we really providing teachers with resources that are research-based, i.e. my district bought Fontes and Pinnell. We bought a selection of it, which I'm sure was a major investment. However, after years of delivery, it was established that it did not align with the science of teaching and reading. As well as our math, we have our own district provided curriculum, but we have different intervention programs such as Eureka Math and things of that nature that I find our district is bringing together kind of after the focus. So just kind of, I think my area of strength is being active in those conversations, ensuring that I can be a voice for the planning, or for even textbook selection or curriculum selection or even curriculum writing. Because at the end of the day, it's those of us that truly engage with the curriculum and model the curriculum for the teachers and observe the teachers who have the greatest input for the best impact on student learning.